Dear Luc, dear Prime Minister, it is really great to have you with us in the European Parliament today. Thank you for joining our now long-standing tradition of This is Europe debate. I had the pleasure of visiting Luxembourg last Friday for the accession to the throne of His Royal Highness Grand Duke Guillaume, and there I was reminded once again of how your country truly embodies Europe's finest qualities, a reverence for history and tradition combined with a bold and future-driven outlook. Prime Minister, you have called for Europe to take bold steps to cut unnecessary regulation and complexity across all sectors, and I could not agree more. If we want Europe to be truly competitive, we need to make it easier for our entrepreneurs, for our farmers and for our families to succeed. And this is exactly what businesses and citizens have been telling us, and this is what this House is delivering. This week I will sign our simplification of the carbon border adjustment mechanism into law, and Parliament will also vote on reducing bureaucracy in the agricultural sector. And also this month we will vote on the revisions of the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive and Due Diligence Directive, followed by the adoption of the investment simplification package. Why this long list of what are serious achievements? It's because our direction of travel is clear. Slashing red tape to give our farmers and businesses more time to focus on growth and less time bogged down in paperwork. Simplification is not about doing less, it's about enabling more jobs, more stability and ultimately more security for Europe. So, dear Luc, dear Prime Minister, I know I can count on you and Luxembourg as a strong partner in delivering this, just as you can absolutely count on us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam President, dear Roberta. Thank you very much for the kind invitation to the European Parliament. I accepted that with great pleasure because I think in a democracy, Parliament is the place where democracy happens. And European democracy, that's us, that's what we are working for, and therefore it was quite natural to come to see you today. Let me also take this opportunity to congratulate you for the strong leadership that you are doing at the head of the European Parliament. You are the face of this House of Democracy in Europe, in Luxembourg. Everybody knows the European Parliament also because of you. And I think it's very important that the Parliament has a voice and a face to the outside world, together, of course, with the members of the European Parliament. But you are the leader of that Parliament, an elected leader of that Parliament. So I think that from the perspective, if I may, of a member of the European Council, it's very important to have you at the helm of that Parliament, to talk to you when you come to the meetings of the European Council, because you convey to us the worries, the concerns, the ambitions of the European Parliament. Thank you for that. We are working for a Europe that works for people. And for me, that has 2 or 3 dimensions. The first one is the fundamental values. Let us not forget that we build Europe around values. That's the difference, probably, of this continent to many other places in the world, especially today. And I consider that to be extremely important. We can discuss about this and that directive, but what is fundamental is that we stick to democracy, to fundamental human rights, to the rule of law, to make sure that what brings us together, this diversity, this respect for other opinions, and working together for compromises is extremely important. That is Europe, and we want to work with the Parliament on keeping those values, these European values that make us unique. We need to deliver for the people, and you mentioned the competitiveness agenda. I think that is key if we want to avoid extreme parties. We need to make sure that jobs are created, that people can have a life in peace, in security, but also in prosperity. That's what we are all striving for. We want to have a good future for our children. And so that is why the Council and Parliament must deliver. We must, yes, have a debate, but we must also come to a conclusion. And competitiveness cutting red tape, making the lives of the companies and the people easier is extremely important, and I want to encourage the Parliament to make sure that results are coming out. The Commission makes proposals, we discuss them in the Council, you discuss them in Parliament, but we also need to move forward. I also think that it's extremely important that we keep the fundamental principles of free movement of people, of capital and good. And that is, for a Luxembourger, the word Schengen. So I think it's extremely important that despite problems that may be in one or the other countries, that we stick to the fundamental principles that on which we build the European integration process. And therefore, I hope that on all these issues, fundamental values, competitiveness, free movement, we can build a better future for ourselves and our children. We have achieved a lot, let us never forget that. I think our grandparents had a Europe in ruins and in the war. Now we have a Europe in peace. Around us the world is in turmoil, and I want Europe to succeed, and that's why I'm happy to be in the Parliament, and we have to do that.